Movies about sharks. Yeah, let's give it a go. There's movies just basically about anything that lives on this planet, and there's movies just about basically anything that we can imagine in our minds. And we have a movie about sharks. Not just any old sharks, the megalodon sharks. Ooh. Reason why this got a second movie, I honestly don't know. I'm a little bit confused as to why they thought having a second movie was going to be any better. This is one of those movies where I'm going to have a very, very fun time reading the bad reviews because I'm not a fan of this franchise. So it's time to get down to the nitty gritty, the stickies and the nasties. So let's get started. Let's look at some numbers real quick. If you haven't seen the first Meg movie, or if you haven't even looked up the reviews for the first Meg movie, here's what it is. 46% of the critics recommend that you go watch this film. Over 300 reviews from them. And only 43% of the audience recommend that you go watch this film. Over 5,000 plus ratings. Meg 2, The Trench. 26% so far of the critics recommend that you go watch this film. Almost 100 reviews so far from the critics. And 65% of the audience recommends that you go watch this film. We're here to get into the bad things. So let's start with the critics. Top critic, Blige Ebery. Meg 2 often fails on a basic molecular level, sometimes leaving us unclear as to who's doing what to whom on screen. And right after that, like 3 splats right here. Michael McGragnahan. Meg 2 The Trench knows what made the original entertaining. It simply chooses not to resurrect that quality until it's almost over. Andrea Chase, Killer Movie Reviews. A wildly uneven effort, spending as it does most of its time as a dud of an action drama and the rest as a rapturous, unhinged action comedy. It honestly is somewhat of a comedy. I mean, there was, in the trailer, this man, Jason Statham, is stopping the Meg. It's a megalodon shark, and he puts his foot up, and he's like stopping it from like biting down on him. How unrealistic is that? Are we going the Fast and Furious route where it just keeps getting more unrealistic as the movies go on? Please don't make a third movie. Like, seriously. 4 top critics in a row. Like, guys, I'm on the first page, and this is this is crazy. Robbie Collin. Meg 2, by design, is a completely anonymous bag of lukewarm McDonald's. Jeez. It's hard to be mad at it, but only because nothing in it stands out enough to get mad at it. Dude, lukewarm McDonald's, like, that's disgusting. Michael Phillips, another top critic. Scene to scene, jump scare to jump scare, Meg 2 gets a D- for clarity. Christy Puchko, or Puchko. Wheatley's wit seems pointed out at the gouache desire of an audience who just wants some big mindless entertainment without being judged for it. If you want big mindless entertainment, I guess go see the Meg if you want that type of entertainment. Brian Tallarico. One of the dullest films of the year, a plotting, poorly made giant shark movie that inexplicably lets the giant shark take a backseat to an evil underwater drilling operation. I'm still scrolling on the first page, and there's like, I might as well just read all the reviews on the first page and just leave it at that. Gregory Wakeman. The film's simple premise and various action set pieces should have resulted in Meg 2 The Trench being a hugely enjoyable summer shark movie that's both gruesome and exhilarating. Instead, those involved ended up biting off more than they could chew. Yeah, I mean, like I said, based off of the trailers, I didn't have any high hopes for this film being good at all. It feels like a dollar store version of The Abyss. Jesus Christ. We'll read one more and then we'll get into the audience. That's going to be my favorite part. Michael Cook. It's boring, and believe it or not, it doesn't have enough shark. Didn't they have like 3 of them in there? This one is a complete snooze fest. That is going to end it right there for the critics. I didn't even get past the first page. Alright, all the bad reviews that I read right there were literally on the first page. We are heading into the audience, which is my favorite part of doing these videos, because the audience does not hold back. Let's get into reading these bad reviews for the audience. Dennis W. Terrible, don't waste your time. W response, Dennis. Judy. Grandchildren liked it, but I was bored. Found it disjointed and ended very disappointed. SF. Poor script and character development. The first film was entertaining, but this one was not. I didn't even like the first one. Bishop. I prefer the trench walk when it was called underwater. I don't know what that means. Kim. Too unrealistic. You think? It was about other sea creatures and not only about the Meg. So it wasn't even the Meg. It was the Meg and the other creatures under the sea. Philip. This movie was too over the top as a spoof versus the first Meg flick. A kind of Meg meets Jurassic Park bizarre theme. If Jaws 1 was a 10, then I saw Jaws 2 as a 7. This Meg 2 flick was a big quality drop off. Don't produce a third. No, seriously, do not produce a third. I agree with that. For an opening evening, the crowd was light at prime time. Google gives a weird type of response to this movie. I peed myself, but it's good. Bill C has a lot to say, so we're gonna take this all in. Your imagination will be pushed to extreme limits by this far-fetched story. While the movie qualifies as science fiction, much of its storyline is simply ludicrous. The last 20 minutes, a near replay of the ending of The Meg, are pretty much unbelievable. I admire and respect Jason Statham because his movies almost always entertain, and he's the reason I went to this. But he can't save this one. It was a major disappointment. I believe it. The book was better. The Meg 2 is a barely there sequel with far too many CGI'd suspend your disbelief near-death experiences and zero character development. Goron Fest. Or Groan Fest? I said Goron Fest. Anthony. This movie is genuinely one of the worst movies I've ever watched. Yeah, I'd rather watch Fast X. Let's get a good one. Muhammad Yu. This film was the worst shark movie I have ever seen. Oh my god. Joe W. The entire trailer is from the last 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes is the only entertaining part of this terrible movie. That pretty much wraps it up. Look, if you're going to make a movie about animals, I think the only cool animals that you can really make are dinosaurs. I know they don't exist anymore, but Jurassic Park is probably the best route to go. And just stick with dinosaur movies if we're gonna go the animal route, okay? If you enjoyed the video, leave a like on it because that helps out so much. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts of The Meg. Did you watch the first one and didn't watch the second one? Did you watch both or did you not watch any? If you didn't watch any, trust me, you're not missing much. If you wanna check out all the other videos where I read the worst reviews, go ahead and check out the link in the description for all those videos. And hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications. Thanks for watching.